I finally reached a point on my hutch where I can start putting things in it. It's not completely done, but the top part is done enough that I can put stuff in there and I won't have to take it back out again. I'll just have to add hardware, and then there's other spots that I need to still finish, but I just won't put anything there. So I first wanted to start going through our baby stuff and our mugs and just take everything out, kind of declutter, get rid of what we're not going to keep, and then I ended up moving things into the hutch, which I didn't end up even keeping it exactly as you guys will see here, because when I decorate and reorganize and things, I tend to do it one way and then I'll sit with it for anywhere from 10 minutes to a few days, and then when I realize either I don't like it or I do like it, then I'll keep it or I'll change it. So that's pretty typical for me, just to put things on there and then switch them up. So I have to say that this is turning out exactly as I had in mind. I had a rough vision in my mind, but I didn't know exactly, what I would find. I knew I was going to do it the blue, but as for the florals on the back, I wasn't exactly sure. I just kind of knew when I saw the paper that I liked that I would know. So that's basically how I went about it. And it's turning out exactly how I had in mind. I have this dream of making my home feel like a cottage. So we live right in town. We don't have land. I mean, we have a good sized yard, but we don't have like land in the country or anything, which would be my ultimate dream. But I am just really big on making the most of exactly where you are. And so our house isn't like, it doesn't have a ton of character. It's not like a super old home, which is what I would love, but it's cozy and it feels like it could be a cottage if I do the right things to it. So that is kind of the feeling that I'm going for, and it's going to take a long time because that's a project, and who knows how long we will even be here. I have no idea, but that is my goal as we are here, is to just make it feel cozy and cottagey, as if we are out in a cottage in the woods or just on some land. And this hutch is really giving me that feeling. So the next thing that I'm going to work on after this clip is a shelf I had found at Goodwill last year or almost 2 years ago probably, and I never knew exactly what to do with it. I thought about saving it for a bathroom, but I ended up painting it and using it for spice jars. And I had my spice jars on top of my stove, but some of them were getting just kind of gross. Not all of them, but like the powders, the garlic powder, the onion powder, and I think it's from the heat. So I decided to move them off, even though I do like the look of it. But I had to move the blue shelf down so that I could access the top of the shelf, and that was a piece of work to do. I remember hanging this shelf the first time and it was so frustrating, honestly, because just getting it lined up took so much effort, but I figured it out. I got it hung up, and then I got all of the spice jars put on there. So the shelf, when I bought it, was actually white. It has some really cute beadboard on the back. It's probably meant for a bathroom. I suppose you could use it in a kitchen, like for towels or something too, because it has the towel rack on the bottom. But I've just always been using it for my spice jars, and I like it. I like the blue. This silver marlin craft paint I've done on a few things around our home, and so I just feel like it feels cohesive. It's a cozy, inviting, warm, kind of light blue, and I just really like it. So yeah, like I said, it has beadboard on the back. It has a little bit of detailing on the side of the shelves, and I'm sure somebody made it. I have no idea, but I love it, and I think it turned out perfect for this purpose. The hard part about actually putting your own touch on things, and well, I avoid like big box stores mostly for budget reasons, but also as I was kind of like forced to do that because I wanted to be home and that was important to me, I started thrifting. You know, it wasn't necessarily by choice at first because I still really like the things that are at Target or, you know, Home Goods. Like they still have nice things, and if it's in the budget, sometimes you can find things there for your home. But I fell in love with thrifting and just like the thrill of the hunt and finding pieces that I don't know, that you just wouldn't find anywhere else, and then at the prices that you can find them at too. It's just so fun. The hard part is though that you do have to be very, very patient, and sometimes I get a little frustrated with that because there's just parts of my home that, you know, they sit undone, and that bothers me, especially when I feel like nesting. So I try to keep certain areas a little more like, it's okay if they're not perfectly together, but at least it's like an organized mess because it's things that I'm going to get to. And then I try to be really intentional with what I do thrift and not buy things that I'm not going to use. So I'm just showing you a little bit of my kitchen. I decluttered off the countertops and moved some things around, and it's just feeling a lot lighter and fresher. So hoping that we can stick with that for a while. I had some leftover freshly milled flour that didn't get used. It was like, I think it actually ended up being about 1.5 cups, which was perfect for the recipe, and I did not want to throw it away. So I decided to just look up a recipe, honestly anything, and I came across a sourdough peanut butter one that called for 1.5 cups of flour. So I just used it for that. So here I am getting ready to bake those sourdough peanut butter cookies. I had fermented them in the fridge probably for a few days. I usually do somewhere between 1 and 3 days in the fridge. I just put all the ingredients together and let it cold ferment, and that ends up being that. One thing I'm really trying to get better at is just not wasting, which does require a level of skill, honestly. Like with baking, it's not too bad because if I have flour, I can just look up, you know, some kind of recipe, which you can do with anything really. Any ingredient that you have, you can look it up. That's the beauty of having the internet nowadays. But I would say with cooking, it definitely requires a little more skill, and the more you do it, you definitely get better at it. And I have a long way to go, but I'll notice like if I have a certain vegetable or I have this kind of meat or whatever, like I can kind of piece together different things in my mind of what I could make. Sometimes I do still use the internet for different ideas, but once you start thinking that way, it's funny how you're able to be more creative and then just other ideas come to you. But it's definitely a skill and a muscle that needs to be exercised. So utilize the internet for sure. If you're new at it, it is such a tool that can be rightly used if you are able to use it with, you know, the self-control. And I don't know, that's hard. That's definitely hard for me, but it is a great tool. Whatever ingredient, or if you have stuff that you need to bake with, just like look it up. Say, you know, Google, I have XYZ recipe or whatever, and see what comes up. And the nice thing with baking too is you can freeze it. So I have been baking a ton lately, and I will just freeze the extras. I'll leave a few out for my family to munch on, and then I'll freeze the rest so that I don't have to bake again for a while. And that is just a nice way to feel like you're not wasting, and B, when you need like a dessert or something in a pinch, you have something in the freezer. So if you end up having somebody over for dinner or something like that and it's kind of last minute, you don't have to worry about whipping something up super quick, which to me is still stressful. Like I'm not at that point where I can just do that really easily. So I really have been enjoying this little strategy. So I hope you enjoyed this video and got some homemaking inspiration for your own home. I think my biggest encouragement in this particular video is just to love where you are at and make the most of it, and just make your space beautiful in the way that makes your family feel at home and like you are surrounded by beauty and things that you enjoy, things that you love. And that's honestly part of the whole point. I mean, it's not the whole point, but for the homemaker and her inspiration, it definitely is a huge part of it. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in my next video.